Hi, my name is Marty Borko. I'm the Executive Director of the Los Angeles District Council for the Urban Land Institute. Relatively new position for me. So my background is as an architect and an urban designer with just a passion about city building. And before I took the job as Executive Director of Urban Land Institute, I was a principal for 27 years at Gensler, doing in their planning and urban design and mixed-use entertainment practices. So I had this opportunity to, after all that time, to kind of make a switch and change what I was doing in the focus of kind of city building and with a real passion for Los Angeles. So Urban Land Institute, our mission is to provide leadership in the responsible use of land and creating and sustaining thriving communities. And what I want to talk to you today is a little bit about three initiatives that we're focused on. The first one is really trying to kind of focus on homelessness as something that our community is only going to sustain itself if we can figure out this problem about, and it's a bigger problem than homelessness, it's about housing and affordability and helping people off the streets. But we started out with a grant we got from the National ULI Foundation. We looked at a report about how to solve the problem, and quickly we're looking at it in a kind of 5 pillars. Real estate, how do you solve sites and real estate? Design, how do you design it within community? The economics, how do you finance it, and how do you get the cost of providing housing down to a point that it's affordable to build? Governance, how do you actually get our civic leaders and our electeds to support it, and then support within the communities that we do it? And finally, operations, how do you operate those? So we have a strong focus. We're a member-driven organization, we're a nonprofit, so we reach out to all our members. In Los Angeles, we're about 2,000 members across the board, design professionals, builders, developers, public officials, land use council, and so we really try to bring all that kind of leadership of our members to help work on that. So we've been focusing on that with homelessness. We're teaming up with groups like CBRE and with Gensler, Central City Association, Skid Row Housing Trust to really look at those kind of key pillars about solving that problem. The next initiative that we've been focused on is called Building Healthy Places. And it's part of a 2-year effort that we've been doing across the United States with many of our district councils. And the idea is really the nexus between the built environment and communities of health and wellness. And so it's really looking at this idea of sustainability on a much larger scale about healthy places. And what we've been doing here is we've focused on a couple of communities. We've been working with Linwood and now with the city of Bell and trying to help them connect to the LA River. There are 2 communities that touch the LA River, but many of those communities which are kind of underserved by open space and underserved by amenities that do that, touch the river, and how do we open up the river and what's going on with the LA River Master Plan and other issues to create open space and connections, connect those communities and provide open space opportunities within those. And then the last initiative I want to talk about briefly is the idea of transit-oriented LA. This is something we've been doing in the city for the last 6 years, a symposium once a year about transit-oriented LA. And this year our focus is, the tagline is Upward Mobility, Pathways to Inclusive Transit Neighborhoods. And we're teaming up with LA Metro and UCLA and are doing a study to look at, we picked 7 different metro stations, try to get a range of different ones, some that haven't opened yet, some in urban areas, some in more suburban outlying areas, and we're looking at the impacts of transit and metro stations on appropriate levels of development and quality of life issues. And so that's a study that's going on now with UCLA, through the Lewis Center that's starting that research with ULI and Metro. And in November, we're going to have this next Transit-Oriented LA Symposium where we're going to be presenting those findings and hopefully with the larger community having a discussion about those are surrogates for density and gentrification, appropriate levels of development, and quality of life issues within those communities and how transit supports that.